What's the most awkward thing that's happened at a sleepover? Story 1. When I was 6, I watched Jurassic Park at a friend's house one night. Got so scared I demanded my mom come pick me up and take me home. So I said I was sick, but my mother did not believe me. So I shit my pants in my friend's living room on accident, so she would have to come and get me. I didn't really go over to my friend's house that much after that. Fear can make a child crazy, especially fear of velociraptors. Story 2. I was out camping with a neighbor friend of mine when we were 14. I woke up hearing the shuffle of her sleeping bag. I asked her what she was doing, and without breaking a stride, she said that she was warming herself up. Then I turned on the lamp and found her on top of her bag, naked and masturbating. She immediately stopped and pulled her sleeping bag up over herself, and she turned out the lamp. We sat there in silence for about 3 minutes. Then I said, "You can finish if you wanna." "No, you ruined it." We didn't speak much for the rest of the trip. Story 3. I once slept over at a friend's house. He was a bit older than me. This difference was where he had discovered masturbation, whereas I had not. Anyway, I heard his bed furiously rocking back and forth. I asked him what he was doing. He said he was doing push-ups. It was dark, so I took him for his word. So then I asked if I could do push-ups with him. Years later, it all dawned on me. Story 4. In about grade 7, I had a sleepover with a few friends. One of them started crying when we started watching The Simpsons because he wasn't allowed to watch it at home. We couldn't calm him down for almost an hour. Story 5. Back when I used to pee on the bed in 3rd grade, I fell asleep in my friend's bed during a sleepover at his house. I pissed on the bed. It was awkward, and I never stayed the night at his house again. But what was the most awkward was that when I woke up, he was sitting in a chair staring at me, waiting for me to wake up. Story 6. The day after the sleepover, my friend wouldn't let me leave, no matter what I did. Around 6 p.m., his dad finally said I should probably go home. Friend burst into tears, threw himself to the floor, and begged his dad to make me stay. Story 7. My friend and I slept in his mom's bedroom on the floor because she liked company since her husband had passed away a few weeks before. Apparently, when my mom came to pick me up the next day, my friend's mom said I had climbed into bed with her. I had no idea, a classic case of sleepwalking. Story 8. Friend's mom walked downstairs to find 8 6th grade boys huddled around the TV watching porn. We instantly pretended to be asleep, and nothing was ever said after that. I still think of it every time I see her. Story 9. 5 people in one room in their sleeping bags are about to sleep, and all I hear is a very slow fapping noise. We didn't find out who it was in the morning. Story 10. I was about 10, sleeping over with a group of pals, including my buddy's little brother, who was around 6. We finished up a few rousing games of Donkey Kong 64 and Hydro Thunder, and all went to bed. Woke up to find the little brother standing ominously above me, butt-ass naked, except for a pair of Christmas-themed tube socks on his hands and arms, and peeing into my half-open sleeping bag. Story 11. I was sleeping over at a friend's house after a party in high school. I shared a big couch next to this girl I sort of had a crush on, and a couple of other people. I was woken up by a tap on my shoulder and felt my massive boner pressed firmly against this girl. She did not reciprocate. Story 12. One time at a sleepover, I left my dirty skid-marked underwear in my friend's room, and when she asked everyone whose it was, I had to lie. I learned that wearing dirty skid-marks underwear was not normal at that sleepover. I was a gross child. Story 13. One time I was over at a friend's house for his 11th birthday. It was me, the birthday boy, and 3 other guys. We all slept in our sleeping bags in the basement. At around 5 a.m., we all awake to find Jake yelling at the birthday boy, Derek. The reason? Derek thought it was funny to take a piss on Jake's face while he was sleeping, and Jake freaked out. Jake walked out right after that, while the rest of us stayed up and called our parents around 7. I went home around 8, and at that time, Derek was still trying to play it off as funny. Derek lost 4 friends that night. Story 14. I was in 4th grade and sleeping over at my best friend's house. I wet his bed and then clogged their toilet with a massive dump. I didn't know what to do, so I shut the lid and ran into the garage to hide. Story 15. I woke up in the middle of the night to my friend stroking my arm. I asked him, "Zach, what are you doing?" He said, "My name's not Zach." And then he went back to sleep. Story 16. I was about 5 or 6 when I lived in Florida. I was at my best friend's house, hot, thirsty, and got up to drink some water. Found my friend's parents boning on the couch at 2 a.m. I promptly went back downstairs. Story 17. When I was in grade 4, about 9 years old, I was having a sleepover with a girl's house who was the same age. The dog, a Jack Russell, wandered in, and she said, "Want to see something cool? Watch this," and pulled down her skirt and underwear and spread her legs, letting the dog lick her out. I was stunned. I can't remember what my exact response was at the moment, but my mom picked me up about a half an hour later. Story 18. I had my high school girlfriend sleep over. She slept in the other room because we were too young to sleep in the same. We were both about 17. Anyway, early in the next morning, I walked in on her having sex with my 15-year-old younger brother. Apparently, they had been seeing each other in secret for months. Most awkward, depressing moment in my entire life. We still never talk about it. Story 19. I was once at a sleepover, and there were about 6 of us guys, about 12 to 13 at the time, watching porn. So I, in my dirty little mind, couldn't resist. I was there in my sleeping bag, masturbating fast enough to power a small village with the energy, when all of a sudden, my sleeping bag gets pulled off of me, and my resplendent member is on show for all to see. Yeah, that kind of sucked. Worth it, though, 6 years later. I finished the job inside his sister. Story 20. Around the age of 11 or 12, we had a Super Smash Bros. Tournament. I guess one of the boys took it literally and whipped out his boner with pride, thinking it would be some sort of big dick contest. Then kind of pawned it off as a moment of him discovering his manhood or whatever. Story 21. When I was 8, I slept in the same bed as my friend and promptly peed on the bed. I woke up before him, saw the mess I knew I'd made, and decided the only course of action was to say that we must have both wet the bed. So the blame would have been shared, and I wouldn't make him feel embarrassed. He believed me. Story 22. I was in the 6th grade and my buds and I got together one night and hung out. Ate pizza and played video games. Normal shit. At some point, we turned out the lights and all watched porn on TV together. It turned into a masturbation party in the dark. It was fun until my friend splooged all over the back of my head and my hair. Story 23. My sister had a sleepover with her friends from school. As a boy alone in the house with them, I was lucky to be the target of the Truth or Dare games. Got my first blowjob and fingered a chick for the first time that night. Story 24. 6th grade. Woke up to fapping noise in the middle of the night and lifted my head to see a blurry image of a friend mid-fap. Pretended to go back to sleep and wished that I didn't exist until I got home the next morning. Story 25. Slept next to this girl I liked at the time. Anyways, I woke up that next morning with blood all over the bed. Blood on her face, too. And everyone was staring awkwardly at me. Turns out I got a nosebleed in the middle of the night. Story 26. When I was 9 or so, I slept over at my brother's friend's house with said brother. Was his friend like 13 maybe? Anyway, he ended up giving me head. I returned the favor. It was awkward at the start, and I didn't really know what was happening. But I liked it, and would ask to go with my brother more often to spend the night with his friends.